right, and we are live with episode. I think this might be 10 or 11. Difficult to say. I always lose track in the beginning of these videos. But today we have Casyn with us.
Hi.
A silver player who plays DPS. I think mostly Genji and Pharah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Casyn. What do you think? So what are your goals in Overwatch? What do you think your weaknesses are? What do you want to improve on? How long you've been playing? That type of stuff.
I've been playing since season 11, like last year, and yeah, I haven't really set a goal since like recently because I only recently got really into the game because I used to really only play quick play, but since last season I've been really playing a lot more competitive, and I've also climbed to silver. And my goal used to be like, I wanted to like maybe one day go pro because I thought it would be really cool, but I've kind of realized over the time that that wasn't really like reachable, so I've been aiming for around diamond. Yeah, that's I've
So
been
yeah. So one step at a time. First, we got to get out of silver before we
yeah
start thinking about going pro.
yeah.
But what do you think is the reason you haven't been able to climb?
I think of course mechanics, but I think that more comes with time. But I think a lot of the time it's also my awareness in game sense.
Mm-hmm.
I might tunnel vision or I might dive in for like low Ash, but then I
Mm-hmm.
forget that she's surrounded by her team, and then
Mm-hmm.
by the time I've dashed in, she's already at full health, and then I die, and then basically I feed the team, and
Mm-hmm.
we lose the fight.
Right. So I haven't watched this VOD. I watched another one that you sent me, but that was kind of a steamroll.
Yeah,
There were a couple of things that I noticed in that VOD, and again, we'll see if some of those issues persist in this spot, and then we'll kind of go through a bunch of stuff that I think is pertinent. But I think sort of the stuff that you said in terms of tunnel visioning, I think that's going to be a very important focus in this VOD. And you mostly want to start climbing with Genji, and Genji is sort of your favorite hero, right?
yeah. I just play Genji and Tracer. I switched
Okay.
to Pharah because they didn't have a skin.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look.
And so was setting up here. Hello.
So something I noticed about you is that you talk a lot in game, which is nice.
Yeah,
You communicate you communicate a ton, like with you're asking for pockets, you're asking your teammates for help, you're giving them information, you're asking them to join team chat, all that type of stuff, which is very very good. It's actually something that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, and something that a lot of people have to incorporate into their game. But you already have that, so that's very nice for a silver player.
yeah. I just try and do that because not a lot of people communicate.
Hmm.
But in an earlier VOD I have uploaded, I was talking off the whole game. I thought, but I thought
Yeah.
like I'd keep up the positive attitude, and at the end of the game, like in the second round, people started responding and communicating, which was
Hmm.
really good, I think.
Yeah. So again, it's very very good. I love it that you're communicating a lot, but also make sure that you stay focused on your own game as well.
Yeah, that's why like I have it on like my mouse wheel, but I've started like putting it more on open mic so I can like communicate
Hmm.
easier.
Yeah, yeah, you should do that, and then yeah, just make sure you don't talk too much. Like communicate the necessary things, but if you end up sort of narrating the game for the entirety of your team, you might distract yourself from hitting your shots, from like your mechanical play. So yeah, I love that you have that you communicate a ton, especially pre-fight and between fights. But then mid-fight, make sure you also don't detract from focusing your mechanical play.
Yeah,
So you got a Genji, you have Bastion.
Let's go, boys.
yeah. I was going high ground.
Yeah, it's very good. Oh, nice, you dodged the hook. You call that out as well, and this is what I mean. This is the type of stuff that you don't. Well, I mean, I suppose it is relevant because you say that you dodged the hook, which means your team will know that there's no hook to be worried about. So obviously, it's important information, but also it's an example where maybe you're commenting on the game a little too much.
Yeah,
But it's fine. It is actually important information, especially if the enemies are playing an Orisa Hawkcom.
Yeah. It was. I wasn't really sure, but I thought it would be a good call up because it was kind of still
Yeah.
pre-fight.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fine. So what is your thought process with this ability, with Deflect? When do you use it?
I should just use it when I'm in trouble, but I keep using it really prematurely.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed in the previous VOD that I watched of you, and in this one as well. You almost use this on cooldown. You don't really have a lot of thought process behind it. You don't seek to use this. So there's two ways to use this ability. I think one is obviously when you're in trouble, to get out of trouble, right? Like if you're this might be the difference between you living or dying, and like you being out in the open and getting cover when you're critical HP. And you can also use this a little more proactively. So you can use this proactively in multiple ways. If you see that you're drawing a lot of focus towards yourself, especially everyone's shooting projectiles at you, you can step in and deflect a ton of burst damage and potentially secure kills with it. But that's not something you really do. It's not something you really think about, I don't think. Because when you deflect, it feels like you usually just deflect wherever to defend yourself. And that's what you're saying. Like you're using it sort of a little bit randomly, rather than to say it. So you understand that, but that's how you can get a lot more value out of the ability. And also when you're being aggressive, like when you're diving in, it's very, very good to use this ability second most of the time. Not always, like it's always going to be situational, but it's good that if you dash in and something goes wrong, that you still have this to depend on.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you use this, that you still have this to depend on. Because when both of these are down, you're very, very, very vulnerable.
Okay.
And because of that, it's very important to like think about the whole situation and whether there are any threats to you.
Okay.
Because now like you get hit a little bit, but you're sort of just seeing this, right? Like you don't know who's shooting you.
Yeah.
So you just react with deflect, and you're aiming here, like you're just aiming sort of in the vicinity, like you're not shooting the damage back or anything.
Okay.
Like in the end, you did shoot him back a little bit, but yeah. Also, you keep dropping down a little bit, so be very, very careful, because that could kill you.
Yeah.
You just jump over. Like, this should never happen. So, but what you can do is use your double jump. Like, you should never jump like this. Like, not jump and shoot, and then not be ready to jump back. Like, you use your double jump around a corner, and then jump back. Well, like you can't make mistakes like this, because like in this rank, like people don't punish it, but eventually you will get punished.
Okay. Yeah, this was like I died, but then.
So there's a lot of things here. So first of all, what is sort of your objective as Genji? Like, especially in ranked when you want to carry hard, like what do you need to focus on?
Getting the kills, but usually you're a flanker.
Just one of the most important thing is like charging your ult. Like if you charge your ult fast, you can just win a lot of fights with Dragonblade. So now you waste so much time trying to kill this lamp. Like you could be trying to farm your ultimate, but look at how much time you waste to just reposition yourself and try to shoot this. Right? Like even if you kill this, like you should really, really focus this in like mid-fight when the fight has broken out. And this is the difference between you getting a kill or not getting a kill. But right now, the enemies are around a corner. Even if the shield breaks and you destroy the lamp, it will never lead to a kill, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of okay to just wait it out and really focus on farming your ult.
Okay.
Yeah. So you should be dead.
Yeah, that was the problem. Like I said, I think I tunnel vision a lot, and then I see like, oh, there's a good target, there's a squishy, but then I dash in and forget that it's like still pre-fight and the team's still there.
Yeah, and you can see like everything that we've seen so far is just tunnel visioning on a singular thing. Like you're only thinking about one thing. Oh, they put down the lamp. Let me just move. Like now you're completely exposed to all of them, and you're shooting a lamp that you really shouldn't be shooting. But the biggest thing is like you position yourself in a way where you're like, I'm so focused on this that I have no idea what's going on to the side.
Yeah.
So very, very important to have good awareness as Genji. And how can you increase your awareness? Like one of the biggest things is seeing. Your touch hard to hear. My chat says. Let me put you up.
Is it better?
Wait, I'll just raise your volume. Can you speak now? Yeah. Okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
So basically, like the easiest way to not tunnel vision is to have more information, right? Like if you see all of this, you have a lot more information than you're seeing this, because that's what tunnel vision is, right? Like just seeing a small, like just focusing on and seeing only one thing. So if you position yourself, so how can you position yourself usually, just in general, not in this situation, but in general, to have more information?
Mm-hmm.
How can you do that?
Like not standing like in one corner and keeping, maybe looking for a place with cover, but that also has like good vision. You can clearly see the other team.
Yeah. So what is a general thing you can do? Where should you, in general, on all maps, position yourself to see more?
High ground.
Yeah. So high ground and cover. So like this is a pretty good spot. You could potentially climb up even higher and play even further above them and see even more, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, because now you look and you're only seeing this, and obviously you can never go for this skill. Like you understand that. And again, in this situation, you have to think about what composition are we playing. Like you guys are playing. If you're playing a Winston Genji, or maybe you could try and look for kills. But if you're playing a Bastion and Orisa, then again, your job as a Genji, just farming this. Like there's nothing else you need to do. You don't have to get kills here, right? Like your enemies need to get through the choke point and start capturing the objective, correct?
Yeah.
And they're nowhere near that objective, and you're already at 50%. So even as they cross, like that's where you're gonna have your openings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if something goes wrong here, your team has to fall back a little bit. Your enemies are crossing. Then again, like you have a very good angle here to pressure, shoot them in the back, and farm your ultimate. And then by the time you get to the point, you might get this. So you have to always think about your composition and how that changes how you're gonna play. So if you're playing a very slow composition, that is just kind of, holding map control, just farm this. Like you don't have to get kills, you don't have to get fancy, because going for the skill, you don't have to do that. Like it's not necessary for you to win, because you're on defense as well.
Yeah, I think I kind of panicked because of the teleporter.
Yeah, and there's nothing, again, as long as you have these two up, you should never panic. Like these, you're unkillable pretty much. You take too much damage, you deflect, you dash out. Like ideally you don't want to use both of them defensively, but if something goes wrong, you can. Yeah. And even if you dash out, like no one can shoot you again. Like they haven't yet taken map control.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So just farm and don't get fancy here.
Yeah.
So don't look for kills. You don't need to kill that lamp in that situation.
Yeah.
So now you're really focusing on this one. Again, like there's no real reason for you to kill this lamp, right? Like now all the enemies have pushed through. The only person who hasn't pushed through is Batiste, and he's showing no intention to use this teleporter. So you might as well just go here and help your team immediately and keep farming your ult, because now you're focusing on this, like the teleporter.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking, oh, what should I do now? What should I do now? Just think about how can I get more ult charge. If that's the only thing that you think about, and then if that's sort of the thought process you have, you will automatically play the right way.
Okay.
So also, something you do a lot is you rush. You don't have to rush things on Genji. Like it's good if you're fast, like with your ultimates, with everything. It's good if you're fast. But right now, it feels like you're being too fast for your own good. Like you're playing so fast and trying to do things so quickly, and your mechanics can't back that pace up.
Mm-hmm.
So what I suggest you to do is just, if you want to make a play, wait a second and then try to set it up perfectly. because at your rank, the game moves at such a slow pace, and you are right now playing in general at a much higher pace than the general pace here.
Okay.
So think a little more as you're making these decisions. Like even here, like you see the point, you're like, oh, I need to go for the kill, but wait, hold on. Sorry. So yeah.
That's okay.
So even in this situation, like you're in no rush. Like you take time and evaluate the situation, because you've just come back and you're like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Just calm down. Like they still haven't capped. There's something going on there. There's something going on here. Just take a look at the whole battlefield. Take a look there. Take a look there, and then you will be able to potentially make a better decision. But now, like you're working with so little information. The only information you have right now is that your Zarya is low on point, and there's a Symmetra here. And you immediately make a decision to go for the kill, when in reality, there's a Mercy here, so she's going to pocket the Symmetra, so you can never go for the skill alone, really. So really, your job hasn't changed, right? Like, your job is still, let me get my Dragonblade as soon as possible, and then evaluate what's going on there. Maybe I should go and help my teammates there instead.
Mm-hmm. Sim's trying to go point and he heals. Baptiste behind you. Baptiste. Baptiste behind you. Baptiste.
Again, you know, like you're going for this play, right? And
Yeah.
you're going for this play because you're like, I need to kill. There's a 200 HP target, it needs to die. But no, it doesn't. Like that, again, that's not your job. Your job is to get this. If you just work, if you play to farm this, you can kill all three of them much easier, right?
Okay.
And again, there's no stress to make that play, really. Like there's no cap progress. And like here you guys kill them. It's whatever. Like you're ahead. You have a Bastion that's shooting the shield, so it's fine. But you can see how in all of these sequences you're just rushing for kills, or you're like you're going and you're taking these risks when you don't need to. And I think it's because you haven't thought about this, right? Like this wasn't really your priority before, was it?
No, I was really focused on the kills.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just shifting that mindset is gonna do a lot, because say this is a little more even. He has full shield. Like, what could you do now that's like smarter, if this is your objective? Instead of dashing and going for this, like what would you do?
Either wait for the Bastion to shoot the shield, or flank.
Yeah, right. You can again go on high ground. You go up here. You can shoot them from behind. They have to worry about this angle and this angle. If you get in trouble, you have the cooldowns to save yourself, or you just help and shoot the shield with your team. Again, like you're in defense, you don't have to get fancy, you don't have to get kills at this moment. Like they have to do something. So completely fine to just shoot shield and wait for your openings, and only dash in where you 100% know that you have the kill. So even in this situation, so you take a look here, maybe you would say, oh, well, I don't really need to help these guys, but you see the Symmetra on her own, and you think you could go for this kill. You could potentially call her and shoot her a little bit. If you hit a couple of shots, and you feel like you can one-shot her before the Mercy comes in, then you can go for that. But you don't have to dash before she's low, unless you know you have the 100% one-shot. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so get her to, 120 HP or something like that, and then you can go for the kill.
Okay.
Because now, like, even if this is a 1v1 and she doesn't get help, you're starting at 160, she's starting at 200. And, like, she will get heals before you.
Okay.
Which is why, like, you have to hit a lot more. But if she was already 120 when you went in, she would be dead.
Sim's trying to go point and he heals. I have Blade, I believe. Sorry. They might have Rogue Protocol.
Did you say they have Hodor?
For some reason I couldn't say it.
Wait,
I don't know why.
they have a Hodor. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
No, I
No?
do know who he is.
Okay.
Roadhog left. Roadhog.
Okay, so you get soaked, I guess.
I need heals.
Okay, so what do you think about this duel?
A very bad idea. Very, very bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can literally get one shot. Even if he doesn't have his hook, he can just. I believe he can just primary fire melee into me.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have this, so you have a little more freedom, right?
Yeah.
And here you actually deflect with a purpose, because he is looking at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he almost kills you anyway. What do you
Yeah.
need to do now?
Dash out.
And which direction?
Right side.
Back to your team, right? Where
Yeah,
the heals
right
are.
side. Mhm.
And you spend so much time just looking at him. Like you should already be turning your mouse to dash here. And then you're
Yeah.
safe.
I need heals. I know. Thank you.
And also, when you've already made this mistake, like you see your Ana here, right?
Yeah.
So how should you position yourself in order to make sure you don't die? What position right now? In which direction should you be moving now to give yourself the highest chance to survive?
The other side. I should turn right into the choke because I can see it. Then I won't get shot in
Which
my
way can you draw?
back. Yeah. I'll read, I suppose. This way.
What about the Roadhog who's above you?
That's yeah.
If
He's
you
still
move,
there.
if you move this way,
Yeah, he can just shoot me in the back then.
yeah. So not a great position to go that way, right?
No.
You're moving. You're moving. You would moving towards the side where the enemy team is gonna come from, and you're gonna be moving while still exposing yourself to the Roadhog. So you chose the worst possible direction to go in. Actually, the worst possible direction would be this way because this would give them a wider angle from main. So moving into this space when you're low right now, considering all the positions, is the worst scenario. This is probably the second worst, and this is probably the best because if you move here, if the Roadhog wants to go for it, your Ana can still heal you, and if the Roadhog wants to go for you, he has to drop from high ground, right? And if he drops from high ground, then all three of you can potentially kill him. So not only do you have the highest chance to survive, but you can potentially bait him into a mistake as well.
Okay. I need heals.
So again, what we talked about in terms of playing cover.
I know.
Oh, thankfully, he's a nice guy and he'll let you live.
Yeah.
Again, you're playing a very stationary comp, so don't have to get fancy here.
Road left top. Road left top.
Again, not a duel you can ever take, and it doesn't really matter that much that he's taking that position. So,
I'm gonna reach a shield. Okay.
especially when you already have Blade, like you could potentially go up there because he's like Hog is an easy target to farm ult off, but you don't really want to go there and even ever risk getting hooked, especially when you already have your ult.
Yeah. Shield. Okay. Thank you.
So something you did well in the beginning, but you kind of stopped doing now is sort of taking off angles, like away from your shield. You know, when you guys were playing in the choke point, you were playing that position. Yeah. And again, when enemies try to push through, it's very annoying to deal with this because someone's always shooting them, right? So this is something you should try to do now as well, because you can poke the shield and you can poke the backline from a different angle. Either most likely in this situation when they've already taken this side, you can move to the right side and shoot them in the back a little bit, or use the shield, because not like you're stepping forward. You're the furthest forward, and you should never be furthest forward. Like if you have an Orisa, this is your Orisa shield. This is your Orisa. You should either be on some kind of a high ground over here, or you should be like on a high ground here, shooting from this, or like here. But this distance being safe enough where you could potentially dash back to the shield if someone pushes you.
Okay.
Right? Because then you're making it hard for your opponents. You're taking an off angle. They have to look away from your front line to shoot you, but you're also safe because either A, you're on high ground, or you're playing within one dash range of your team.
Mhm.
And then you can never get shattered here.
Okay.
Because you just look around and I don't know what you're looking for there.
That was one I can go back to the team, I think.
Yeah. So just initial positioning, like you moved forward, and because you moved forward in front of your shield, you make that mistake. So it's very important that you pay attention to the position of your front line as well. Like where's my Orisa positioned, and let me play. If there is here, let me play in the same line. You know, like maybe sometimes you can get frisky. If this is your front line, this is their front line, maybe you can get frisky and flank. Sometimes it's going to be, you know, situationally it's going to be correct. But as a rule of thumb, really pay attention to the front line and where your front line plays.
Okay, come back, guys. We lost point. We should have looked at for shatter. Should have looked at for shatter. Okay, I got that. Yeah, I was at that point. I was kind of pissed with myself because I didn't really pay attention to the right.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. Like if you play your position correctly, you're never ever in the risk of getting hit by that shatter. Like a Genji should almost never get hit by a shatter because Genji has one. Like, what is the biggest advantage of Genji compared to other heroes?
His mobility.
Right, and if we were a little more specific,
his vertical mobility. He can dash up. He can climb up.
Exactly. The fact that he can at any moment take a high ground, whereas other heroes can't. So Reinhardt can never come up to you. So if you play above him, you can never get shattered, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something you just need to do a lot more and abuse a lot more, because even when I was watching your other VOD, you didn't go on high ground enough. Like that wasn't your priority. And I can show you a couple examples in the other VOD before we finish this review to see that like that is not your priority at all. Like your priority. So let's put it like this: when you're retaking control or you're moving up into a position, number one, clear the high ground. Right. That should be your number one position. Number one priority. Because you have the ability to do what other people don't. If there's no one on the second floor of the enemy team, that means you have it for free for yourself, and you have a lot more freedom, and you can make much better decisions. You have, like you said, you have more information, and you can also come from different angles. You can shoot from behind the shield or from the side of the shield. It's easier for you to farm. All these advantages just by controlling the high ground. Also, if someone from enemies is on the high ground, you can potentially push them away. You can say, "Oh, Mercy, come with me. But let me push this character away." You push down like a sniper on the ground. Again, you've negated a big threat to your team and a big threat to yourself.
Okay.
So why are you trying to like jiggle peek here?
I was expecting them to go like at the main choke, but I didn't really think of the fact that they might have gone with the other side because they had a sim as well.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean, why are you jiggle peeking this Roadhog when you're shooting him?
I want to just try and get some
no, but
peak damage, some poke damage.
Yeah, but why are you going? Why are you taking cover between shots?
I have no idea.
Like, is he a threat from this range?
No, he definitely isn't.
If this is a Widow, then what you're doing is 100% fine. It's actually risky. Like, what you're doing would be risky against a Widow. You could potentially look for a deflect and then just take cover and not take the duel if this is a Widow. If this is a Roadhog, you can just stand and shoot at him. Like, he's not a threat. He can't hook you. His damage fall-off is way too high, so you don't have to keep taking cover. Because any damage he trades back at you, he doesn't have kill potential on you until he reaches, like, around here. And then you can start using the cover. So you always have to think about, is he a threat to me? Same thing, what other hero can we think of? Maybe an Ana. Like if an Ana is here and you shoot her a little bit and you think she's gonna shoot back, maybe you can do that. But yeah, just because this is good, like what you're doing, but you just have to, and it's something you should practice as well. Just go into practice range and practice this shooting. Make sure all three of your shurikens go around the wall, go behind the wall, move this way again, shoot 3 shurikens, move this way again.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you see now, one shuriken in the wall.
Yeah.
2 or 3 shurikens in the wall.
Yeah.
2 more shurikens in the wall, right? So I'd suggest you go into practice range and just practice this motion, like this dancing and shooting around corners, because it's an important tech to learn and make sure that you get a lot of poking, because if you can do this and this Roadhog is moving towards you, this could be like 20% ult charge for you, you know, if in the case that you didn't have ult charge. So go into practice range or whatever and practice this so this becomes automatic, and I think this can help you a lot too.
Okay. They're going that side.
Forgot about that Roadhog.
Yeah. Thank you.
So why do you leave high ground here?
Because I was too focused on like killing the Reinhardt and the McCree. That's the McCree, I believe.
Yeah, but why would you go here?
I have no idea. I was dropping down. I thought it would be better to make it. Because I felt like it was kind of a 5v6, though it really wasn't, because I can still I'm still very able to poke here from high ground.
Yeah, perfect. Like all of these guys are focused here. Perfect. You can set it up a lot better. You know, like you could even climb up here and look for the drop. Like maybe you could even set up your blade like that. You climb up here and you don't even have to dash. Like you pull your blade out here, you go through the animation as you're falling, and then you can probably one-shot someone. You know, like you can do a lot of stuff. Or you could even poke, and then dash up, pull your blade out, and then go for the kill. Right? But if you go here again, like you're exposing yourself to a shatter in case he has shatter. You put yourself in a position where they can also poke you out, because if they turn around to poke you out here, then like the rest of your team can punish that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this shield is gonna drop really quickly. They can't really keep this space for that long.
Yeah. They're going that side.
And then you're working again with a lot less information. You don't know what's going on main, right? But if you just stay high ground, Roadhog is not a threat either, right? So you're putting yourself in a position where there are more threats to your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here you dash behind shield, you're kind of low, so it's whatever, but yeah. You could also just dash up on high ground too.
Yeah. I missed the middle, I believe.
That doesn't matter. So you could have easily bladed like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like you ask Anna, can you nano me? And then you don't get a response, and then you don't pull out the blade. So you have to be ready for your teammates to not respond.
Yeah.
Because I think this would be a decent opening.
Yeah. Oh no, that's
Right? Like you dash in, you pull the blade, maybe you can kill these guys.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna do something. Like on a panic next. It's horrible.
And you're shooting the wrong target, right?
Yeah, I'm going for the Roadhog, but there was a symmetry on the other side.
Yeah. Like if you hit her once, like you have this, like you can shoot her again, shoot her a couple of times, get her down to 120 HP, maybe go for the kill, maybe even go for the blade if things start going wrong. Probably here you don't need to, but
yeah, this is where it goes wrong. Oh god.
oh. So yeah, so you could have pulled it earlier. Something you also do very regularly is before you blade, you waste this. This is when you're blading, how does deflect help you?
Well, it can deflect some of the damage that people will shoot you when you're stuck in the animation, and you can deflect back some of the damage or negate some of the damage.
What is the biggest advantage that this gives you?
I have no idea. Besides that,
what does it buy you?
time.
Exactly. It buys you time. So if you're losing someone or if something goes wrong, especially if you're dashing into targets who can stun you, very, very important. Like Anana is here, you're going on the Ana, you're dashing through her, you're pulling your blade. Very important that you have this at your disposal, because if you don't have this at your disposal, she will most likely kill you.
Okay.
Especially like if you don't get the nano and you go on Anana and she nades herself and she nades you, then she can survive your dash and 2 swipes before she dies. So if you waste this before that duel, you're at a big disadvantage.
Okay.
Same thing here, like you waste it, You pull it out. So in this situation, these two aren't really a threat to you.
No.
Like, they can't really kill you, especially since you have nano. But again, like, if you have this, you can feel a lot, because you're rushing things. Like, you can just move forward into them. One slice dash and they're dead.
Yeah.
But again, if you have this, you can also protect yourself. Like, if you lose them, if you dash, say this was a McCree, like you're dashing on, you put your blade, oh shit, I've missed them. And you realize, oh, McCree isn't here. You could potentially use this to deflect, and then 180 deflect, and then maybe you stun him, and that's the difference between you dying or you getting a kill. So very important that you try as much as possible to save your deflect for your blades. And again, like, you're rushing it a little bit here.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're so fast, your sensitivity is so high that you miss out on these kills that you really should not be missing out on. Right? Because you should, at this range, you should never be missing these swipes.
Yeah.
So slow down when you're blading, whatever you're doing, slow down and make sure you hit stuff. And then when you start hitting your blades, you get used to your sensitivity. That's when you can speed things up, because now this again, you can see how slowly your opponents are moving. Like, they're not kiting. You're playing against GM players. Maybe they've already jumped back here. You know, like, maybe he jumps up and she flies away, and it's a lot more difficult to close the distance. Right?
Yeah. I understand it.
So just don't rush it. Even now, like, you don't have to 180 swipe, because you know that to get the kill on these guys, you just need to dash and one swipe.
Yeah.
So you hit this. Now you don't even swipe. Don't press the button. Look around, find them, because now you're in range, right? Like, now you are in range. So don't rush this. Just look, find them, and then play it the safe way. Don't speed run. Okay? And that's 100%. You're gonna start getting a lot more value out of your blades if you just stop rushing, because that's what you're doing here. They didn't really make any great plays. Yeah. Also tunneling a little bit on the
Teleport on the left.
Mercy there, when you're still getting shot in the back. So, but that's less important. But you see, getting these mistakes just because you're rushing things.
Like, on the left side.
Again, same mistake as we saw on first point, right?
Yeah.
Where should you be positioned now?
High ground, or like with my teammate behind the shield.
Yeah, exactly. You see them coming in here, here, wherever, right? Like, if they're coming in main, good position, much higher. You see everything.
Yeah.
Or here if they're coming here, and again, you're shooting them from this angle. If they start shooting back at you, even if you take a little bit of damage, you have cover. And then you just peek out, your Ana can heal you, and you're fine. And you're still shooting them in the back. And maybe some of your teammates hit some damage, and then you can find these openings where you can go for a kill from high ground. And you can make those decisions much better. But again, you're in front of your entire team, which you should not be. You should only be in front of your entire team if you have a really dominant high ground. So again, like, here, your backline is way over there, but this is okay because you have a dominant high ground and you have cover. But look at how aggressive you are, you know? All of these guys, Hook comes out, like, and you're focused on Symmetra. So you're not thinking about this, you're not thinking about this, like, you're not thinking about the threats. And again, you can't really get peeled, so. In a higher rank, you're dead, which is most likely, like, if you climb, you do stuff like this, you just die and you lose the games. But if you just by taking that position, you not only, like, just that thinking like that is gonna win you so many more games. You know, because you just feed. You know, and if you're in that position, you never die. But you guys kill the Reinhardt, you dash in, you clean these guys up, you farm your ultimate, and then even if you guys win this fight, you're not charging ultimate charge. But if you just waited for your Zarya to make this play, you could dash through all 5 of them, and then before the next fight starts, you have a new blade. You can carry the next fight again, right? So not only for your cover as well, just to farm ultimates as well. Like if you're playing this, again, much easier to farm ultimates because you can shoot them from the back.
Yeah, and for some reason I dashed in as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And instead, you would have been here. You can shoot down the lamp safely as well. And you can farm your ultimate.
Shit, that was a bad dash. They're gonna roll ult. Run in the back.
Again, you're just holding down W into them. Like you guys aren't playing goats, and you're not playing a Brig or a Reinhardt. So you have to be much smarter here. Like now, the Symmetra wall kind of messes you up because you have a little less freedom for where you can go. But again, you guys still have a shield. You still have a bastion. You can still do stuff. Like just use the cover. Use cover either through using architecture of the map or using the shield.
Yeah, I should more.
Yeah, because now beyond this line, he has the advantage, right? But behind here, you have the advantage. He can't shoot you. He has to go into your bastion and you and your Orisa.
They're gonna roll ult. Run in the back.
You know, like again, you have defense. You have better spawns. Your team is gonna get back into the fight faster. So there's absolutely again, you don't have to rush. You don't have to make plays. But again, you're just going for plays. 1 versus 4.
It's even lucky I got away from the McCree.
Yeah.
To find the hammer.
Yeah, you should be dead. But the point is, again, the common theme that we're coming back to is you're playing too fast. Right? You're looking to make plays all the time. And in that situation, again, we can agree that your team didn't need a play from you in that moment. Important that you also have a plan when you're blading, because now it feels like it feels like you're like, oh, I have a blade, let me just use it. You have no idea who you're going for now.
Yeah, very often I blade or I dash in without a plan.
Yeah, never do that. From now on, not a single blade, because now you do get value. You kill people, but you kill people because you're silver.
Lucky.
No, because you're silver.
Yeah.
And now, and it's the same thing. When you dash up, that is your time to evaluate. If you didn't gather the information before the fight, before you made your dash upwards, now you have to evaluate the situation. Look at this. Who do I go for? If I don't see a target who I need to go for, then I just need to land and look away in the other direction and find a good target that is going to give me a reset. Yes, but what do you do? Wait. You look down where you don't see anything, right? So you're not even looking to see like who can I kill there. You're not looking behind. You're just looking into the ground where you don't see anything and you can't make an evaluation. So number 1, plan before initial dash when you're blading. If you can't do that, if the situation is too stressful and you have to make the play, plan while you're in Dragonblade animation.
Yeah.
And don't rush it. Again, you're rushing it. You go up top. Where do I go? Where do I go? Okay, now I go. And I guarantee you get these kills much faster. Because for you, it feels like, oh, I pulled my blade. I'm on a timer to make plays now, like they do in the Overwatch League. And that's not true. Like, you have to build up to that pace. And you, again, at this rank, you have time. You have time to practice your mechanics properly. Because now, like, are you going here? Are you going here? Who are you going for? You just swiped him.
Yeah, I saw the low one, but I thought it wasn't a suitable target.
Yeah.
Because it would take way too much flashes.
You're just figuring things out on the fly. Like, you're doing first, and you're thinking second. So the goal is for you to start thinking first, and then doing second, and slowing down the game, because you can afford to slow down the game at this rank. Again, not a very smart duel to take, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you see him vaping here, and you don't have this, you can't really pursue. But what advantage do you have that the Roadhog doesn't?
I have like the vertical mobility.
Yeah, and you are already above him, right?
Yeah.
So you can still farm ult off of him from here, while also being able to like dodge his hook by jiggling. But now he can just hook and kill you, especially if you don't have this. You're lucky.
Road left side down. Left these stairs or Doomfist.
Ooh, why? Again, you're rushing your dashes. I want you from now on to just stop dashing, like initiating dashes on full HP targets. Unless you know you can kill them, unless you have nano, unless you're diving in with your Winston, okay?
How was the blade again?
Because, like, you... Let me see this again. You see that there's a Junkrat there. You see that there's a Doomfist there. This is not a great situation for you. You can farm ult off of them. You can use cover.
Or Doomfist.
But you can only ever kill him if you dodge his abilities, you get him low enough, and then you dash through him when you already have, like, the kill potential. Even if you dash through him now, you don't have any kill potential. Like, he still has so much HP. You do, but it's going to take a long, long, long time. So you never want to initiate this duel with a dash. Especially when he's charging his fist like this, you should want to dash out. Because, as you see, Junkrat is coming in from the other side, too. And again, why do you get in this situation? What is the bottom line?
You know, I said my pace too high. I'm too busy with too focused on getting kills.
Yeah, 100%. Again, you're so close. Just from this, no rush. They have to come to you. They have to capture the point. You get this, and then you make good decisions with this, and then you're gonna win every fight with your blade at this rank.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going for the kill when you don't need to go for the kill, and you could have easily died. And you're taking the 2v1 again. You're taking the 2v1 with both your cooldowns down.
How was the blade again?
And you're not on high ground.
Yeah.
Nice. You actually tried to deflect like straight at him. Like this is something I saw that you didn't do as much on in the other game that I watched, was that you just deflected in a random direction without really aiming. So it's very important that when you're deflecting projectiles that are flying your way, try to, or like what are the hit scan or it's projectile, try to aim it right back at them. Try to aim, because you can easily get kills. Like if in this situation, let's see. You know, he's kind of low. So if you deflect this, like you're aiming in his direction. So if one of these mines hits him, then you have kill potential with this.
Yeah.
Right. You might even, like if you're honestly, this isn't a bad time to go in. This, because he's so low, this is not a bad time to just dash in and go for the kill, because you can dash through him, one shuriken melee and he's dead. Maybe even just hitting a shuriken.
Yeah.
But especially if that nade hits, then you can just kill him with just a dash.
Yeah. But that you didn't hit, I believe. So.
Yeah. And again, same like your positioning. I guess you start behind shield. But again, there's nothing that they have to worry about because you're not there.
Yeah.
죽지 않아요. 영웅이여, 일어나세요.
You're just slicing the tanks.
Yeah.
Which is why you don't get a reset fast enough.
Yeah.
And then you waste your dash. You don't have to dash here at all. Like you can dash here if it's gonna give you a reset.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a 200 HP target here, or if you're nanoed and they're trancing and there's a 200 HP target there, and you need the swipe and dash for an insta kill and an insta reset. But now, just keep swiping it or look for a 200 HP target. Because dashing here messes you up. And you're just rushing. You don't have to rush that dash at all. They're stuck, they can't move. You have all the time in the world. You could even just walk up to the Mercy, swipe, she shifts, and then you chase her with your dash. You don't have to get 6 kills with your blade.
죽지 않아요. 영웅이여, 일어나세요.
And because you dashed in that grab, that's why you die. Okay, most likely it's just gonna be more of the same here. Like you just don't really take high ground. And the thing is, like, you could even ask your Mercy to push with you, because this is something you did very well. Like every blade in the previous one, you were like, Mercy, come with me, right? So you could use her as a resource to control this or that, because you do believe you have Mercy now, don't you?
Yeah, we have a Mercy.
Or is it Batistana or something, whatever. But still, like, you could ask her.
maintenance.
Yeah, you could ask her to play that angle, and then you can farm even more. You can carry even harder, and you have that capability. You know, like if you're with Mercy here, your enemies have to push into there, and then who the hell on their team can kill you or push you? This guy isn't a threat to you because you have a Mercy. The two of you can easily push him away. You negate that threat. You either kill him or he falls back. And then these guys can't really do anything, right? So again, you can use her as a resource too.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't dash into him. I like this. You're playing at a range that is good for you. Ooh.
Yeah, I was really scared of Doomfish because I know Doomfish can easily one-shot me if I'm unlucky.
I hope you don't go for this. Again, you don't have to kill the lamp. You don't have to fight here. Even if you get a kill, best case scenario, you kill the Batiste somehow. Somehow he messes up that you kill him.
Yeah.
He gets rezzed and you don't get rezzed, right? And again, you're forcing a play when we've established you're on defense. You don't have to force a play, right? You just have to defend and play power positions and farm ultimate. But now you're not doing that. You're not farming ultimate.
Yeah.
You're looking for kills.
Yeah.
And they're bad, so you survive, but
Yeah.
you should not survive.
Doomfish still left side.
And again, if you called the Mercy with you, you wouldn't get pushed away by the Batiste there.
Yeah.
You and your Mercy could definitely push him away. But at least you dashed behind shield. It's better than we saw in the beginning there. But again, you dash. You dash for kills when there's no kill to be had, right? If you use your dasher, you have to know 100% with 100% certainty that by the time the dash ends, I'm gonna have a kill and I'm gonna immediately be able to dash out. You can't dash in and hope that they're gonna give you time to shoot them a couple of times, especially if you don't have deflect. Again, be much more careful. In general, slow down, but slow down even more when you don't have your cooldowns.
Yeah. We almost have grab. Should be able to win this.
영웅이여, 일어나세요.
Yeah, because I think in this entire round you got like what, 2 blades? Did you get 2 blades or 3 blades?
2.
Yeah, and you only died 4 times, so you didn't die a lot. You didn't die a lot, and you only got 2 blades. You should be getting like 4 to 5 if you just play like we talked about. If you played, if you just played to farm instead of playing to get kills. McCurry 2000, Bortle, Tyler 5, Davey, thanks to the follows.
It's okay.
And no, Zorber, you're not late. This is just the first review we have.
I have actual AK. I'm lazy. Yeah. No.
But AKM has an excuse because for him it happened.
He zones it.
No. For him it happened on Anubis attack, where there's an Orisa shield and he has nothing to shoot. For you, it happens on a map where you're playing defense, you're playing high grounds, or where you have the opportunity rather to play high grounds.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different scenario. No excuse not to get moral charge. Hype House TV with a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you for the sub and welcome to the Mineral Miners, Hype House.
Go left side, see if they can get like some spam angles.
Oh,
My wall clamp stopped working. I don't know why.
I hope you don't dash in here. Oh. Okay, we get out. Right. Nice. Again, now we're back to you wasting deflects. Like you haven't done it as much on this spot, but in the other one that you sent me, you did this a ton. So remember when we watched the first point, you pushed the hog, you deflected with a purpose because he was looking at you, and you know that you have to block the hook, you know that you have to block his damage because you're within his effective range. But here, right? That's where they're looking, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason to panic deflect here.
Yeah.
If
I
he's
think that's most.
Go on.
No, I think that's like really my problem. I panic deflect and deflect. That's why I deflect really prematurely.
Yeah. Like and again, if he starts looking at you and shooting you, maybe there's an excuse to do that. And you can maybe hit some shots back at him and go in for a kill, like move in for a kill. But you have to get something out of that deflect. But now you're not really in danger. And you can't return any damage. Like the duel you took with the Junkrat, that was good because you were trying to return damage, and that could potentially lead to a kill. This deflect can't really lead to anything except for you wasting a major cooldown.
Yeah.
Group up.
Oh, what a manly charge.
Oh, he's gonna die. Fairly sure. How much of Blade? He hasn't shown up in the kill feed yet. What? Ah.
Why are you dashing here?
Did I dash it? What? Sorry.
Where should you be dashing? Based on everything we talked about, if you replay this situation now, where do you dash?
Back to my team into the room.
That's what you did.
Oh, sorry, I should be. To high ground?
Yeah. Right here. Roadhog can't touch you.
Yeah, I was very focused on surviving. I thought like I should get back to my team, but I didn't.
If you're 50 HP, sure. If you're 50 HP, that's fine. But there, no one can touch you, right? Yeah. Like let me see. What kind of comp do they have? So they have Zarya. He might be able to get to you eventually. Is that a diva?
That's a.
No, that's a Roadhog. No, that's a Roadhog. Roadhog, Zarya. So this is the only hero who can actually get to you on high ground, and he would have to waste some major cooldowns to get to you on high ground. You know what I mean? So if you automatically just default to getting to high ground all the time, to dashing to high ground, you're just gonna be safer and you're gonna put yourself in much better position. Same thing here. Look. You're getting pushed, he might kill you. You dash up on the platform into the mega room. Right there. Right? Instead of dashing into the ground. Now he can still kill you. Right? If you go there, he can't touch you anymore.
Yeah.
Because as you're dashing there, he's going for the kill on you. So he's either going to use his punch or he's going to use his uppercut here. If he uses his uppercut and you dash there, then he's going to have to... If he uses his uppercut, his punch, he can't kill you at all. If he uses his... if he uses his punch, he can't follow you at all. If he uses his uppercut, he can follow you, but it's going to be almost impossible for him to get the kill. If you just go on high ground. But if you dash onto the ground, much higher chance that you get caught. So just try and default, especially when you're escaping. Boom, up on the high ground. Unless you really need the met back. It's not terrible. You get out anyway, whatever, but, I just want you to get into that habit. And then test your limits that way, and then be able to read situations when you can and you can't to do that. But most of the time you can. Just take high ground.
have Blade. Sorry, can you bubble me when I go in with Blade? Heal me?
Again, you're on the ground.
Yeah.
You know?
I could have easily avoided the damage from the meteor strike.
Yeah, like your team is back. Like they play this. Like if you already played this, again, you could be moving here. You have so much space at your disposal where you can close the distance on them. You can see more. You can come in from a flank and surprise them. But you're playing main behind shield, especially when they're playing a composition that can't really push you away from anything. Same thing as they're on their attack. Like they only had Doomfist who could go up on high ground, really. And you... Oh, sorry. The enemies are on point. All of their damage is going to be here. So you play this, you're not going to get taken damage either.
Yeah.
And again, you dash onto the ground. This is like a defense, sort of a defensive dash. You want to dash away from the Doomfist ult, I assume, but you dash on the ground where you can still take damage instead of dashing up in the air or on some kind of high ground. Again, deflect without a real purpose.
Yeah.
You're taking damage from the turret, but no one's looking at you. If you want to disengage, you might as well just dash out there.
Okay. Also, I have a question. If I deflect, should I deflect when someone's looking at me, or should I deflect when I'm taking damage?
Well, it depends. Like it's gonna be situational. Like there might be a situation. Say, an example. You're an Ashe is standing here, and her Bob is here, and you're where you are right now, and Bob is shooting you. And then she is maybe looking there. Completely fine to deflect Bob's damage into her, and then dash through and one-shot her. So that's a scenario where you don't have to do that. But in general, like when they're looking at you, when they're shooting at you, that's a good time to do that. Either to buy you time to escape, or potentially set up a kill, and to preserve your HP. Oh, I like that. You obviously you can't move because you're grabbed, but look at where you're aiming your escape dash.
Yeah.
You're aiming it in the right direction now. You're aiming up on the high ground.
Yeah, I was there, but I was stuck. I couldn't use deflect. Dash.
Yeah. I know you couldn't, but I'm just commending the idea. The idea was good.
And I was constantly looking at my stats because I was wondering, like, how can I get more damage per 10 minutes? I have 8,000 here exactly in 10 minutes, but how could I, like, higher that amount?
Are you asking me now?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about all the conversations that we've had so far,
yeah, I should.
What do you think?
Being on high ground and poking way more.
Yeah, and
planning my blades better.
No, that's not gonna lead you to. That's gonna let you carry games, but it's not gonna lead to too much of an increase in damage per turn.
Having a plan when I go for a kill.
Or just like your general mindset, what should it be? What should your general mindset be?
Sorry, you're cutting out a bit.
Your general mindset. What should your general mindset be?
Building a blade.
Yeah, if your mindset is building up, because there's a lot of burst damage with your blades, but ultimately the way you raise your damage per 10 is one, you just poke to farm up your blade faster, and then you get more blades. The more blades you get, the more damage you're gonna get as well, right?
Okay.
So yeah, that's if you just adopt that mindset, farm blade first. Like that's my number one priority. I don't have to get kills at all.
Okay.
Automatically everything like those stats are gonna start ticking upwards.
Actually killed him with his own ult.
Yeah, that was nice. But then you let him res, and then you. Okay. So what should you do now?
I was planning to go for the kill on the Tor, and I thought it would be a fast kill, but I forgot he is buffed to 250 health.
Yeah, but also like you need to be using your abilities here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're getting shot from the back, and you still have both your cooldowns. What do you need to do in this moment? What button do you need to press?
I think deflect.
Yeah, you can like position yourself a little bit to this side and like aim at him, but aim like towards here.
Yeah.
And deflect, and then you're going to deflect his damage and the damage from the side, and then you can cancel your deflect prematurely and just kill him with the dash. You can help him kill himself, because if you're swiping here, it's going to take too much. It's going to take 2 or 3 swipes, and he does so much damage close range. So it's going to be either going to take you too long to kill him, and you're going to waste most of your blade, or most likely you will die if it's a better torb, especially since it's getting pocketed.
Yeah.
So you need to use your cooldowns. Same thing. Yeah, go on.
No, do you mind if you pause it for a moment? I think I have to go to the bathroom, and I'm gonna close the window because there's some kind of weird noise outside that's really distracting.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't want to go on for too long in this VOD, because I think you sort of get the gist of everything. Like we're repeating ourselves a lot more now, but I think you get kind of the ideas that I've tried to. And especially now you move to Pharah, so I don't really want to overwhelm you with information.
Sorry, you're cutting out very much. No.
Hello?
Hello? Is it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, it's good now.
Yeah.
It's good now.
I don't want to overwhelm you with information with other heroes as well, because I think if Genji's your primary hero, like you should focus on, playing Genji and how to. So yeah, I don't really want to go through the Pharah too much. Instead, I think I'm just gonna touch on really quickly. Gonna touch on your old VOD, the one that you sent me yesterday. I'm not gonna put it into this. I'm gonna open up the VOD on YouTube. So if you go to my stream, if you have that pulled up, I'm going to. Let me just find it. Okay. Let's see.
The Havana one.
Yeah. So again, just to summarize a lot of the points that we talked about, they're the same here. Like, deflecting here. He's not shooting at you. He's not shooting at you, and even if you deflect the shot at him, in this situation, you're not within dash range, so you can't get the kill. And you're also not at critical health. So there's really no need to, deflect in those situations, because you're not saving yourself, and he's not looking at you, and you can't convert that into a kill. So in terms of deflects, that's very important. Also in terms of rushing, actually we're going to see more, so maybe... Actually, we're going to see it here. In terms of rushing your mechanics, with your mechanics. So I think it's going to come after this. So here. Look, you missed this dash, right? Like, why do you miss this dash? You miss this dash because you rush it. Like, she just shifted, so now she doesn't have a shift. So you either have to dash on her now, or you have to dash on her next Guardian Angel when she's moving kind of in a straight line. Right? Like, now she's a stationary target, and she can move a little bit, but you can easily hit your dash. But you dash at the time when she leaps, so you have to keep that in mind as well. Like, not rushing with your mechanics. Hold on one little moment. Yeah, like in terms of blading, again, wasting deflect before blade, right? Like you waste deflect and you're dashing alone into 6 people.
Yeah.
and you don't have a plan on who you're gonna go for. So again, you don't make up the plan. Actually, now you at least you're doing the second point of what we talked about. You're looking at, okay, who can I go for now? But again, make sure you try and avoid wasting your deflect before you go in like this.
Okay.
Because you have to remember, you're stuck in an animation. While you're stuck in that animation, you're pulling your blade out, all the focus is going to shift on you. That's where you're going to take a lot of damage. So in the case that you take too much damage while you're stuck in that animation, you need that deflect for a little more cushion, like a little more room for error. So you don't want to, strip yourself away from that.
Yeah.
And also, again, in terms of clearing high ground all the time, like now again, you're playing on the ground, but if you're up here, up on the right, you can get a lot more done. Like you can probably get a better angle. Like you're always just pushing on the ground in all of these clips. Same thing here. Like you could be on the high ground and you would not be able to get shattered. You would not be able. Diva would have to use cooldowns to get to you. None of these people who are shooting you right now would be able to shoot you if you're playing the high ground. But you die because you're not playing the high ground. Same thing here. You're coming out of spawn. You're not even looking at high ground. Like this should be what you're looking at first. Hanzo is here. You can easily push him off, and then you can control the space. But instead, you're completely ignoring this guy because, again, this is not your priority. This is not a priority in your mindset. And you're just looking, again, and you're dashing without trying to, there's no kill to be had here. Like, no one is low enough. Well, I guess you looked for a blade, but whatever. So you looked for a blade, but at the same time, the whole fight, you just completely ignore this guy. You're just looking on the card. So if we go to the drawing, the Aggie one, to summarize this session, Batty, thanks for the follow. Are you in there or no?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. What?
So, high ground, clear it on retakes, use it when you have map control, ask for resources to maintain that control, like if you need mercy. Wait, let's delete that. No rushing.
Okay.
Make sure you're slow. Again, these guys in your rank, they're really, really bad. They're not going to punish you that hard. Learn the right way. Build from the ground up. Do not think you have to kill them fast because they're going to make mistakes. If you stop wasting your deflect on your blades as well, you're going to have even more cushion. So don't feel like you're okay, so you are on a 6-second time limit, but at your rank, that's a ton of time. You can look around, you can play slow, and you can find it. So, both with your blades and with in general how you play, don't hunt for kills as much as you're looking for ult charge, and then you're going to deal a lot more damage. You're going to be playing positions which are going to be difficult to deal with for your opponents, and you're going to be able to find kills. There's a lot. I want to see in your VODs. I want to see a lot more situations where you poke a target down to such low HP that you can just kill them with a dash. Right? Because right now, it's very rare that you kill anyone with just a dash. Because you're dashing so early and you're dashing on almost full HP targets. So, all of that, make sure, with dashes and with everything that we discussed. Yeah, I think those are... Yeah, just playing around your ult, farming ult. This is your priority. Start doing this, and I think your stats are gonna move up a lot, and I think you'll be able to climb a lot. Right?
Yeah.
So write these down, and then after every map, just think about what you could have done better. Is there a high ground I should have played that I didn't play? And then you're gonna learn. You adopt these concepts and you're going to learn the game the right way, and then you're going to be able to experiment after that or add to that. But these are sort of the fundamentals that you need in order to make Genji work. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, about my hero pool, really. How many heroes should I keep it? Because I made a spreadsheet, and I have basically for every role I have 2 heroes. But how should I focus on them? Should I focus on all of them? And I think I know the basic mechanics of most of them. That should I I mostly play DPS. So should I just focus on the DPS roles, or should I also like try and play more?
No, focus on one
first?
thing. Focus on one thing at a time, master it, and then move on to the next thing. So, like,
Okay.
as you saw, like, there's so much that you can improve on in your Genji play.
Yeah.
Not it's something that is not only gonna help you with your Genji play, but that you're gonna adopting all of this is gonna not only give you a strategy to learn the other heroes better, but it's also gonna give you sort of this toolbox of fundamentals that you're going to be able to add and play other heroes. You know, that you're going to be able to play all heroes much better if you adopt this. But it's much better to start with one hero, especially since Genji is a very mechanically demanding hero. It's not an easy hero to learn. So I'd suggest just play Genji as much as possible. Learn all of these things. When you feel comfortable and you've climbed enough, you can start learning new heroes. But yeah, if you want to climb and learn properly, I'd suggest to just really think about what we talked about today, and yeah, incorporate that into your game, and then you should be able to start climbing, and then eventually, building out your hero pool.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Mhm.
understand. I definitely get your point. Yeah.
Anything else?
No, not really. I just wanted to say really thank you for the opportunity for me to submit a VOD. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for watching, guys. To keep supporting this type of content and the channel, hit the magical subscribe and like buttons. Also, make sure you hop onto the Mineral Miners Discord to join the community and potentially take advantage of some coaching. You can find the link in the description box down below.